everybody, and welcome to this Sunday's live training, the art of negotiation, the technique behind it, offering without offering. See, there's loads and loads of negotiation techniques out there, but today I'm just going to drill down on one. Let's get myself set up here. Oh, this is a little bit wobbly. Drill down and focus mainly around one sort of technique that I use. This is probably one of my favourites, if not my favourite technique of negotiating with property. So really understanding. Morning, Steve. Thanks for the little post earlier on and making this your ritual every Sunday. It's great that you join us every Sunday. But yeah, the understanding how to negotiate is not just important in the property business. It's important in life in general. Everything in life is a negotiation. So everything, whether it is trying to get your kid to go to bed on time, trying to maybe get your wife or your husband to come to bed with you early, or everything you can think of, trying to get your boss to get you a raise, trying to get your boss to let you leave early and do a job or knock, trying to get a new job. Everything is a form of negotiation. So understanding negotiation skills is going to be helping you understanding life navigation skills. So important to navigate just life in general. But this focuses on property and property investing. So it is really essential in property investing, or any business really, but especially property investing, to understand negotiation. So when you understand negotiation, there's a few different things that you've got to understand. I'm going to make a note of this, is your leverage. So I'm going to turn this around and start getting on the whiteboard here with this, and knowing where the leverage is in a negotiation. It's okay, I'll get started. So negotiation. So the first point you've got to think about with negotiations is basically your emotions. And you might be thinking, what has emotions got to do with negotiating anything? So basically, when you're negotiating, you've really got to understand that the energy in the room, and everything we do is emotional, so everything we will do with emotion, everything in life is just an emotional response to how we react to things. So people buy and sell on emotions. So often you will buy something or sell something emotionally, in that emotional reaction. So depending on the emotion will depend on the result of the sale or the purchase that you take. We always purchase emotionally, and then what we do is we let's put this over here. We purchase with emotions, and then what happens after that is we justify. We try and justify it with logic afterwards. So this is like when somebody buys a sports car and they then go home to their wife, or if a lady buys a handbag and she goes home to her husband and justifies the logic behind spending maybe £10,000 on a Hermes handbag, or spending maybe £200,000 on a Ferrari. It's an emotional purchase. So understanding your emotions in a negotiation, and other people's emotions in a negotiation, is really critical. I'm just going to double check to make sure. I did ask if everybody can see me okay. Yep, see you okay, thank you. And I've just moved it to top it off. Said you can see me okay, and I just slightly moved it. So okay, excellent. Thanks, Ed. So managing your emotions in a negotiation is absolutely critical. So how do you manage your negotiations? So you've got to manage your energy. Sorry for any spelling mistakes in this, guys. I really am not a good speller. I'm dyslexic. The idea behind this is just to give you a little bit of a visual. When you get some visuals, you can learn a little bit better. So it's not here for any grammar police. It's not here for me to grammatically spell correctly. And especially when I talk, it's even more difficult. But you've got to manage your energy. If you manage energy in a room, so 50 Cent talks about this in his book, Hustle Hard, Hustle Harder. And he says, when you go into a room, there'll be energy, and you can feel that energy. Do you know when you go into a positive environment, or if you go to a football ground, it's got that, like in a football match and your team's winning, that collective energy of the group is pumping. Or you go into a room where it's got an opposite, it's got a negative one. This is so important. So you've got to manage your energy to help manage the energy in the room. 50 Cent talks about this loads. He really manages the energy in the room when he's in a negotiation. And there's two ways of doing it. You can manage it. You can manage your energy in the room with like a more of a positive vibe, or you can manage it in a bit more of an aggressive sort of vibe where you kind of like intimidate and kind of intimidate and scare people. I don't like that methodology, but they both work, you know. But the thing with the intimidation and the scaring is most people ain't going to come back and probably do business with you again. Where if you do it on the second way, if you manage your energy in more of a positive way, you can create more repeat business. And with agents, estate agents, if you're buying for agents, you want repeat business with them. You want them to come back and bring you deals all the time. If you just really negotiate people down hard, in Chris Voss's book, Never Split the Difference, he talks about there's a few different ways of people like getting negotiated, and that is one of them. I can't remember the terminology he uses for it, but one of those ways of being negotiated is by being basically bullied into it. Or you can do it where you just feel like, yeah, this was a mutual thing and you're both happy with that. You don't want to create buyer's remorse or seller's remorse. So it's so important. So managing your energy in the room, manage your energy in a positive way, I think is really, really important. And how can you do this? The trick behind this is breath work. Might sound a little bit like Mystic Mega and woo-woo stuff, but breath work scientifically is proven to manage and calm your stress response hormones that's pumping up in you. When you go into a negotiation, we will bubble up loads and loads of hormones. This is why you might practice it a day before, saying, oh, I'm going to say this, I'm going to do this. Then you get in the negotiation and your heart's pumping. You're pumping out loads of adrenaline and cortisol and stress hormones. So you want to manage them the best you can, because they can be misinterpreted sometimes. So how I mean by misinterpreted, if you're really, really stressed and anxious, the person on the other side might not think you're just scared, like nervous of the situation. They might be thinking, well, where is their angle? What is their approach? What are they trying to talk me into or out of, in the case of you trying to buy their property? What's not right for me? So managing your emotions is really important. So something like box breathing is a really, really good technique. This is what the Navy SEALs use to manage their energy, their emotions when they're out on the field and about to pull the trigger and things like that. They really manage their emotions by box breath. Box breath is basically you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold, and you repeat that around maybe 3, 4, 5 times. So before you go into a negotiation, make sure you settle yourself with a really nice breathing exercise, or maybe one like I really like, my favourite one out of all of them is called Take 6, Calm the Senses. But there's loads of them out there. There's alpha breath. There's different ways you can really slow your mind down. Brain imagery, when they're doing these electroencephalogram images on your head to see what your brain activity is doing, is scientifically proven that these work. They really, really do work. So managing your emotions is the first thing you want to be thinking about. Once you can manage the emotions in the right direction, you've then got to think about who has the leverage. I'm not sure if I spelled that correctly, guys, but as I said, it's not here for a spelling test. Who has the leverage? You've got to know where the leverage is in the negotiation. So there's different points of a negotiation where the leverage will be swung one way or the other. So initially, when you first go in and you want to buy a property, if you're buying from an agent or if you've approached somebody to buy a property, generally the leverage is in their court. If they approach you, say you've done some marketing, especially if your marketing's positioned to say we help people out of situations, and you're really clear on your marketing what you do, and if they approach you, then the leverage is more in your court, because they've approached you knowing that you're an investor and knowing that your marketing tells that you're an investor, you will add value to it, you're really clear on your marketing. So it depends where the negotiations come from, would depend where the leverage is. But let's say it's come from an agent, and you're just going to view the properties straight away, because 90% of properties will come, 90% of people who want to sell their home, sell them via an agent. So let's just think, if this is through an agent, you've got to think the leverage is massively swung and balanced in their direction. So what you need to do is do some little tricks to bring the leverage back. One of the big no-nos that I think is a massive no-no, you will get results by doing this. Same again, when I was talking about managing energy, if you just bully people into selling you and you just use a really dominant dictatorial way to get people to sell to you or you to sell to them. It's all the same, negotiating. You will make progress with that, but you will break rapport and repeat customs. So one of the things you really have to think about in trying to get the leverage back to you is building that rapport. I'm not sure how to spell rapport. I've just gone blank now. But you know what I mean by that. So building rapport will help build leverage towards you. And then the method and technique that I'm really going to talk about today a lot is going to be around the offer without... Oh, spelled that completely wrong. Offer. Sorry guys. Me thinking, I can hear my son in the background as well, bubbling away somewhere, and I'm expecting him to open the door. So it's the offer without offer technique. Let's go with a different colour now underneath this. So this will help you get the leverage back towards you. So building rapport, as I said, this is why if you're going aggressively, like I speak to agents all the time. I've actually had deals from agents that said, look, do you know what? This person basically is offering, and he's a cash buyer, but he's just so bullish and he's so arrogant with the way he does it. We'd rather try and get this deal done to you. They're not allowed to do that, but they do. Another way you can build leverage back to you is one I missed off here. Let's put this over here. Is by reciprocity. I'm definitely not going to be able to spell this. That's my best try at spelling that. But another way you can bring leverage back to you in your direction is by building reciprocity. So what is reciprocity? Reciprocity is when you give something to somebody and they give you something back in return. I've done a video in my on my Harvey Growth Properties page yesterday about this. And reciprocity can be done in two ways. If you just give with the expectation to receive, that gets seen through very, very quickly. How many of you know somebody that will give you something and a week later they phone up and go, do us a favour? And you think, and or they go, yeah, I helped you out last week, and you just know it's coming them. Then you end up avoiding them. Anytime they offer to do anything for you, you don't want to take it from them because you just think they're just setting it up. I've done a video about this yesterday. Paul Tinker done reciprocity with me 2 days ago. I know the strategy behind it. Even when I know the strategy behind certain things that are happening, I'm happy to do it because I can see the intention behind it was authentic. So he offered to help me out and I ended up buying one of his programs. I was planning to buy it anyway, but it just sped up my process on doing it and made me take action quicker. And because it was authentic, if I knew he was just phoning me up just to position me like that, and don't get me wrong, you do use reciprocity to hope that it's going to come back from somewhere, but you don't use it specifically on that one person. So if you use it specifically to try and get that leverage back to you, people will start seeing through that. Not everybody, but a lot of people will, and you reduce your level of returns. And when we talk with agents, you want to build up a good rapport with them and future them coming to you, you know. So build up reciprocity. How can you do this with agents? Do not try and bribe them. Most agents don't like that. There is the odd one that does, but most don't. One of the best ways to do that is a token of your appreciation once the deal's gone through. And again, and I'll talk about this a lot in my training, is finding agents, building rapport with agents. Go on their Facebook and on their LinkedIn, find out what they like, what they're into. You know, I found an agent once, you could tell she liked her handbags, her stuff, and she really pushed a deal towards me. And I bought a little Gucci, not Gucci, a little Armani purse. And wow, you can see she was through the moon. And then she's like, oh, I'm not like, I said, listen, this is a genuine token of appreciation. You went above and beyond. So I recognised that. I've sent like hampers of fruit in before because I said, I don't like sending chocolates because I like you to be healthy. And because of the fact I knew the person, I knew the agent was looking, that they were talking before about me, about their diets and blah, blah, blah. So I knew that they was, basically, trying to get in better shape. So when a deal come through, I sent them a Marks and Spencer's hamper with fruit, and I said, look, I know I like being healthy. Health is one of my values. Send you through fruit instead of chocolates, and that really bonded with her. Another way to build your rapport and reciprocity is through, and this is massively overlooked, is by building your online profile. I've had agents bond with me by watching my videos online. They initially didn't like me, and then they their whole perception changed when they went online and actually see my content and see some of my mindful stuff, see some of the stuff in my family. So having a good online profile will break this down for you and help negotiating before you even start negotiating. Sounds a bit odd, but it actually works. So thinking about where the leverage is in a negotiation. So let's go into now the offer without offer methodology. So how does this work? So there is a cycle that works in the offer without offer. One of the things I believe you shouldn't do is lowball offer all the time. Every now and again you can put a cheeky offer in, but cheeky offers are not cheeky, they just pee people off, especially agents as well. So you've really got to gauge the agent on whether or not they're going to be susceptible to a cheeky offer, because they will take it personally as well. What you got to remember as well is most agents is the person that told the vendor the price to put it on the market for. So you're really then trying to tell them to go back to the person that's selling the property. We got this totally wrong. You put it on for 100k, but it's only worth 60k. And you've instructed us now. A lot of agents got a bad reputation for doing that, taking the instruction for a higher price just to get them instructed. So they don't want to go back with a massively lower price than they told them they think they could achieve for that property. So you've really got to sell the agent into why your offer is what your offer is. You know, so again, number one with your offer without offer is really trying to make sure the first point with this little cycle is trying to demonstrate, how can I word this? Trying to demonstrate to the agent why you're not going to offer on it and why your offer would be lower if it is lower. So you just want to demonstrate to them why, first of all. So you don't want to just go straight in with a crazy offer. You want to demonstrate to them why, and you want to do that by saying to them, let's give it an example. This property down here, let's go off a different colour. This property down here is on the market for 100k, for example. You've done your research and the comparables are, the comps are let's say 105, but it needs a refurb of, let's say, 15k. So you're like, how can this work? Like, and that's a great way. You just say to an agent, how can this work? So what you do to start building your point of why you would go lower with that is you'll be saying to them, so what are the comparables in here? What do you think is a done up price? They go, well, maybe 1.5, 110. They probably go slightly higher than the comparables because they're agents. And you say, okay, so 15k refurb for you is probably a 30k refurb for somebody in like general Joe public, you know. So you might say to them, look, this needs 25k's worth of work just by a glance at it. I'm not going to spend loads of time on this, but how can I make this work? If they're only worth 110 and they want 100 for it and it needs 20k's worth of work, for example, how can I make that work? You start then making the agents then start understanding where you're coming from. So they will then start going, oh yeah, okay, yeah, probably kind of agreeing with you, or maybe being a little reluctant to agree with you, but you're planting that form in, so your why. Your step number 2 after this is creating your anchor. You want to create a little anchor point with your offer without offering. So sometimes, excuse a little anchor here, I'm not sure how good of an anchor that is, but you want to create, believe it or not, I do like art and I'm not too bad at art, but that's not the greatest one. But you want to create a little anchor. So you want to create a point where you leverage them down. So what you do is you first of all start explaining why. Say, well, the numbers don't match and blah, blah, blah. And then you just say, they might ask you if you want to offer. So there's a couple of ways this goes. They might ask you if you want to offer, or they might not. But whether they do or they don't, you just say to them, do you know what? I'm not really going to offer. I don't think this one's going to work with us, because if it needs 20k spending on it, like as a business, we want to like make some sort of value out of spending 20k and the effort and time it takes into that. So my offer is probably going to be more around sort of mid to late 60s. I'm not going to offend a person and try and offer them 40k less, because you're not just offending the person, you're also offending the agent sometimes. And what you want to do then from that point is you want to gauge their response. It goes 1 to 2 ways. After this will go in 2 different directions. Number 1 is the agent will just screw their face up and just to say, no, that's just ridiculous. They're never going to take that. So their response is going to be, I can't think of a word to put in this gap here, but they're going to show you, you've got to really read their response basically. So you've got to see, let's say, we want to be able to read their response in between here when you've landed your anchor. That's absolutely key, and it goes one or two ways. It's either a bad response. I'm trying to think of a word to put in now to make that. Sorry, guys. It's either a bad response or a good response, and the two responses are worked out like this. So basically, a bad response is them going, "Don't be ridiculous. We're never going to buy." What's the name? You don't want the agents have got an obligation to go and give your offers to vendors no matter what you do. They have to do that by law. So you do not want them going, even if they won't say it to the vendor that they feel it is a bad offer. Remember the energy part of it. If they go to a vendor and go, "Oh, you've been offered this much," yeah, I know, and the whole persona is not selling it to them, that's it straight away. The vendor is trusting the agent, so if they're not bought into it, the likelihood of the vendor being bought into it is a lot lower. You want the agent bought into why you're doing this. So if their offer's bad, straight away there's the two responses. If their response is bad, like, you've got to read them. What you want to do is go over here and then say, "Yeah, I know, agree." You want to agree with them, say yes or no, that's why I'm not going to offer on it. And you've just planted that anchor there and you leave it there. You do not offer. If their response is like, the good response would be, "Oh, well, we'll give it a try. You never know. Yeah, I think you're right," because you've planted the head there. You've told them their reason why, and they start going, "Yeah, well, I think you're right. Like, give it a try." What you do then is, if they ask you to give it a try, is what I do then is I will then offer. I will then offer like the lower end, because I've planted, when I've said here, at this point here, I've offered without offering basically. So I've said it's only going to, at this point, it's only going to work for us at about 55k, maybe early 60s. In my head, I'm knowing early 60s to mid 60s probably will work, but I'm trying to create an extreme anchor that is lower, so it pulls that anchor point back. So if I'm happy to pay early 60s, I'm going to say mid 60s, maybe mid 50s, maybe early 60s. The psychology behind that is you're creating an anchor. So even if you're happy to pay 60, if you're happy to pay 60, you don't want to say I'll pay 60. You want to create the anchor lower, but without offending. And this is why you do it, that offer without offer. If this response goes good, if the response goes bad, you go, "Okay, yeah, that's why I'm not going to do it. Just let us know," and you put that on your follow-up list. And then let's put this in red. This just goes into your follow-up. Loads of deals in every single market get done on a follow-up. You hardly ever get deals accepted straight away. It's always a follow-up. So then what you would do with this follow-up, you just follow up weekly, talk about other things, say, "Oh, what happened to that deal? They end up selling it at that price." Don't forget, it would be interesting, but if they start reducing their price, we'll then can maybe look at it. At this point, if the response is good, you say, "Right, I'm going to offer 55k for this." And your reasoning behind offering 55k is because you say to them, "Look, it's going to probably need 15, 20, maybe even 30k spending on it. I do not want to spend an hour doing a detailed inspection on this property until I know they might accept something in this ballpark. I might be able to go up to 60 odd, but I don't want to start spending time on it and come in with an accurate offer until I know they probably would take it. If it's definitely a no-go, there's no point me spending an hour figuring out what the refurb's going to be so I can figure out my exact offer." So let's just start with this so we can see their response. If the response is like, and not a yes but a maybe, and not straight like no way, it needs to be around this, and the agent sells it to him, they then can do a detailed offer and come back to that. So they're the two responses and two ways you're going to get to that point. So I hope that makes sense. Such a powerful technique. If you lowball offer people all the time, I promise you now, you're just going to pee people off. Steve was on here, funny enough. Steve was asking me, we got an offer accepted for a property for Steve, and Steve saying, should we go a little bit lower? And I was explaining this methodology behind Steve with him, with the agent, getting the agent on board. And he went, do you know what? You're right. Because when he sold his own home, and Steve put in the comments and shared your experience with that. When he sold his own home, somebody walked in, an investor, and was brash and arrogant and went, I will give you like a lowball offer. I can't remember exactly how Steve explained it to me, but I went to give you a lowball offer. And Steve went, in my head straight away, I said, I'm never going to sell you my house. Straight away. So even that guy offered what you wanted for it, quite often they don't want to sell it to you. Because a lot of people sell, not always to the best price. They sell to the people they build a rapport to most. This still offers with direct to vendor stuff as well. You still go in and you explain them why, you go through the offer without offer. I'm not probably going to offer on your properties way far for what you want from it. So we'll just let you know, if you struggle with it, come back to us and you do the same sort of methodology as you would direct to vendor. So what I'm going to do now is turn this around and see if we've got any questions. What I will do as well, guys, is I will now I need to knock this stand off, sorry guys. What I'll do as well is I'll take a screenshot of this, I'll put it in the notes underneath. Let's go through some questions. I hope my stand don't fall apart at the moment. What are your thoughts on the prices that agents provide versus the argument that the property is worth what someone is willing, I'm guessing you're saying, sorry, versus what someone is willing to pay for it? So depending on what you do with it, comparison prices become less relevant. Yeah, absolutely. What a great point. A property is only worth what your end perception could be of that, or what you can get lending on it with. So if you're buying cash, it's worth whatever you're going to happy to pay for it cash. But if you're buying with a mortgage, there will be restrictions on which you can offer on that, because the lender will come out and work on comparisons and say, the surveyor will come out, sorry, work on comparisons and say, no, it's not, the market don't dictate it's worth that, so the lender won't lend on it at that strength. But yeah, again, what an agent says and what it's worth is very much two different things. And sometimes agents do say it's worth higher. And I had, I was speaking directly to a vendor who's advertised through an agent, and I went in to speak to him. I met the vendor directly, the agent advertised it. And it was on, he had it on initially for 80k. And this is a little sign. I will view some properties. And the agent said to me, I'll view this one. He's becoming a bit motivated because I've built rapport with the agent. It's on for too much money, but go and have a view. You might have a chance with it. It's been on for a while. Been on for a long time. I think it was about 6 months at 80k. The house was worth around 50k. So I went and viewed it. It reduced it to 70k. But because it'd been on for a long while, sometimes you know it might be one of them ones for a follow-up. Definitely wasn't going to offer him, so I'd done this sort of technique. But what I said, I done that technique, said to him, look, I'm not going to offer, it's probably more. He went, oh, I'm not going to drop it anymore, I can tell you that much. Because I was trying to find a point, where would it work for you? You're on for 70, where would it work for you? And he was like, I'm not going to drop it anymore. I've already took 10k off the price already, so I'm not taking any more off of it. And I'm not, and I was like, and again, you want to educate people. By giving them value in education, you really help build rapport. And I said, look, with all respect, man, I'm not going to try and offer on your property. So this is not by me trying to buy your property. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this as a bit of education. It's been sat on there for a while. And if it was worth 80k, you've not knocked 80k. You've just knocked out 80k of a price you plucked out the air. If you look on the market, they're worth about 75, 80k fully done up. Yours needs a good £10,000 spending on it to get to the level of the ones that are selling for 75, 80k. So if it was worth 80k, it would have sold for 80k. So you taking 10k off of something that is a theoretical price is not really knocking 10k off the price. It's just you getting closer to the realistic price that it is. I said, I'm not trying to offend you or anything, just trying to help you out, sell your house quicker. I don't mind if I buy your house or not. Like, it's just a number game for us. Whether you buy your house or another house, with you another one, we'll buy another house. But like, I'm getting on with you, so I just thought I'd give you a little bit of education. What you've got to look at from people's points of view is, if they're going to pay, like even now at 70k, even if they could get the work done for 10k, why would they do the work in the property and take that effort and have to find 10k on top of the purchase price? So if they would have bought a house that's done up, the extra 10k is £1,000 on their deposit more, rather than finding 10k out in their pocket and then having to have the effort of doing the house up. I said, so most home buyers are not going to do that. I said, if investors are not going to do that either, it's only worth 80k, they're not going to buy it and spend 10k on it, because it's a business for them. They need to make some sort of profit in them buying and spending that money and spending that time and effort. I said, so just an education to you, the price that you've placed on it wasn't the correct price, because if it was the correct price, the market dictates what something's worth. And what somebody's willing to pay for something is what it's worth, not what you think it is. Because you just pluck figures out of the air. Say to somebody, oh look, I've got this property, give me £1 million for it. Just because me saying it, don't don't mean it's worth that, you know. So great point there, Alex. But yeah, agents do tend to overvalue stuff, unfortunately, and that's the hard point. Trying to get them the expectation down of the vendor is really, really difficult. If you get on with agents, if you've built with private agents, I've got an agent that says to vendors, look, we'll put it on the market for this much. It might take this amount of time, but if you really want a quick sale and you don't want no hassle, I've got an investor there that give you a lower price, but for a quick sale, we can have this done today like that. And I get a number of deals, not all of them, not everybody says yes. A lot of people go, no, let's put it on the market for the top amount of money, see how it goes. But also what he's done is created that anchor for me, because if they put it on the market, it don't sell for weeks. He's already had that anchor in their head at that price. So then when it don't sell, they can come back to me, or he comes to me often and goes, let's not sell a few weeks. I've told them there's somebody there. The fact that they're now asking me about that somebody, we've created that sort of anchor point, and then the leverage massively pushes towards us. Again, when you make this offer down here, when you don't make this, if you don't make this offer and you say, yeah, I agree, but then the agent phones you back, leverage is massively in your court, because they like to feed back to vendors what the feedback is on it. And they'll probably go, oh, do you know what? I'm so shocked. We're just not having no bites on it. And we spoke to a few investors, and they're all saying around this. I thought it'd be worth more, but yeah, mate, it's just strange. The market's at where it's at the moment. If they come back to you after they've told the vendor that, it means the vendor's then it's planting that seed, and the vendor's thinking, oh, we've not got many viewings. Oh, what do we do? You go and speak to that guy, and they can become emotional and a bit more motivated. So really, really powerful. And you're absolutely right. The investor came into my house, rubbed his hands together and said, right, is there a deal? Is there a deal to be had here? He's got his back up straight away, and never going to sell my house to him. Seriously, people don't realise it. Like, you odd person you win deals with, you will win deals if you do this and you lowball, but if you do it too much, I promise you're not going to create a reciprocity. You know, going direct to vendors, you might bully the odd vendor in, but even then, a lot of deals get done on the follow-ups. If you go in there like that, if that guy had come in to Steve and he had got on with Steve and said, okay, and explained his why behind it, look, we're an investor, so we might not be a good fit for you, and explain why, look, these are the numbers, we ain't going to do you offer about offer, we can't offer because we probably have to offer this for it. It's far out. Let us know how you get on the house. If you ever struggle with it, you do want to sell it quicker, let us know. But if not, good luck with it. You might be able to do better on the open market. If Steve didn't sell his house, that reciprocity could have been built and he could have come back to me. Where that guy, even if he didn't sell his house, very low that he's going to go back to that guy. Some people will because they just get desperate, but that is a lower chance, you know. It's just such a big thing. Hi Pad, how you doing today? I'm setting up from remote investing in Swindon to Manchester. How would you advise? What is the best strategy to develop relationships from Ireland? I've made in the area. Best way is that online profile. Build your online profile. Agents, like 90% of the world today, are online. So what happens is people, I talk about this book all the time, Influence, 7 points of contact before people build trust in you. This was written in the 1980s, I believe it was. Let's try and find this because I always say when this was written. I think it was the 1980s or the 1990s. Yeah, 1994 I think this was. Or 1984, it's got in there as well. But this book was written before Facebook, Instagram, the internet in general, Google got momentum. Now, because there's so many people online, people's trust levels have gone up higher. So Google done a study. Google hold more data than anybody in the world, and they done a study on buying behaviours. So the point of, they call it zero moment of truth, ZERMOT. This is the point when people build enough trust to do business with you or buy from you, or it's the same methodology. And they said it's more like 11, 12 touch points now. Them touch points can be built online on your profile, even from vendors. I had somebody come and try and sell a house to me, and they've been watching me online. And I even said to them, you might be better putting this on to estate agents. Yeah, no, but we trust you. We don't trust estate agents. We don't go through them and pay their fees. We trust you. And that was built all off of my profile online, you know. So the best way, if you're doing it remotely, to build your profile and your credibility and contact with agents is ideally turn up. If you speak to them on the phone, you try and find them online, friend request them. If you've got a profile online, and natural curiosity of anybody, if you're speaking to an agent, you spoke to them for a bit and your friend requested them online,
if they accept your request, what they will do is they will then, out of curiosity, look through what you're doing, and they can then see what you've been up to, and see about your personality. You've done video, you talk about your like the mindset and your well-being and health and fitness or other things that you're into. They start then building that rapport and bond with you in the background, and this works. But this is an asset. Building your online profile is an asset that's going to pay you and work for you 24/7. So important. It's got to be done correctly. Mine can't just show up talking about cat videos and blabbering on, but it's got to be done correctly. My next jump on example of what I mean is that we have a property that has bought comparisons show that the closest comparison was 3 years ago at 490 completed. However, we are taking the remodel to the next level. We believe the property should reach 550, 600k, which shit's... Oh, I knew this was going to fall off. Sorry guys, let's rotate this back around. Sorry guys. Oh. Yeah, we'll take that to 550, 600, sits well within something of other prices of slightly different properties. I'm still not quite sure what you mean, but yeah, look, if there's a time over there, obviously you've got to account in for the appreciation of the asset and the time that the asset has appreciated. So at the moment, if the market dictates that it has been appreciating, so if there's evidence that the area has been growing, obviously if there's no comparables for 3 years, a surveyor will understand, or just because it's not comparable in the street, the area as a whole has grown over the last 3 years, so they will take that into account. I think I fixed that now. So they will take that into account that the area has grown. So yeah, long as that the growth from the 490 is incomparable to the rest of the area's sort of growth, that should be fine. Oscar said, any unique ways to build rapport with agent? Also, how can you stand out to an agent and look different, not just the same old self-interested investor? Yeah, listen, when you walk, what a great bit of advice. If you can build rapport with agents, that's building your negotiation leverage right from day one. And the thing is, agents have a preconceived conception of investors when you walk in the door, especially in today's world where there's so many people walking in wants to be a deal packager. So many people watch a YouTube video one week about deal packaging, and then the next week they're all excited and they go in, they want to be an agent, and they go in there, start talking about BMV, off-market deals. Agents hate that, by the way. Do not start using terminology like that, or I want motivated sellers and BMV deals. Agents really don't like that. So there's so many people that come in, so you've got to show yourself consistent. So consistency is key, first of all. Building them touch points with them. Again, getting them onto your profile online is massive. You can get them on there. If you're out with them as well, say, I've not got a business card with me, but can you contact me with any more properties, and try and build a rapport with them. And they say, look, contact me on Facebook, and try and get them onto your Facebook if you can. That's great. Also, go and check their Facebook out. Just do a bit of investigation. Don't be a stalker, by the way, but investigate them on their Facebook. You might find out they're into football. They've been on a holiday the same as you, or they might have a dog breed the same as yours. They might be into French Mastiff bulldogs at the moment, which seems to be the popular dog. You might, or they've gone to a university that you went to, or you might, if you can find a line of common interest, or even if it ain't common, to something that you could, like, you might see them into motorbikes and you're not into motorbikes, and just say to them, oh wow, I see you've got a bike. Like, I've always thought about biking. What's your views around this? And do you take to tracks? Do you do this? If you can find a point to talk to them outside the property, this really, really helps build rapport. Again, you don't building reciprocity. Just walking in with cakes and coffees, I think, is worn out a little bit. But again, if you generally just ask them out for cups of coffee, ask them for a cup of coffee. Say on your lunch break, look, I'm in the area, do you want a cup of coffee? Take them for a cup of coffee. So I'd like to pick your brains. Always make people feel important. That really helps build rapport. Make them sound important, make them feel educated, make them feel knowledgeable. Really, really helps that. So ask them, take them out, pick their brains, ask them about the area, get an understanding of that. If you're not going to the area, you're doing it remotely, you can do loads of these techniques over the phone. As I said, if they work above and beyond, then recognise that then with a little gift. Try and find them something. Books work really well. Like, you could see they're into travel, and if they're into travel, you might buy them a certain travel book, you know. know. There's a great book called Vagabonding, or find them a really good travel book. If they're into a football, like they're into Manchester United, get them Alex Ferguson's memoirs or something, you know. Like, try and find something that you can connect with them differently, just from a cup of coffee or a donut, you know, like taking in some cakes. So yeah, and but the big key is to stay consistent, get them touch points in, build your profile, try and get them onto your online profile. So make sure you're present consistently online. Hope that helps. I hope I'm saying that correctly. If you can let me know if I'm saying it correctly. I've made an offer and found I was in a price bidding war. Sometimes it's hard to know the other parties made that higher offer, or the agent's just pushing it, so you're making a higher offer. Yeah, do you know that is a really, really hard one. In general, I had a situation, two guys that I coached, both offered on the same property, and one offered £1,000 more than the other. Both of them didn't know they both offered on the same property, by the way. It's because I was coaching them, and on their one-to-one calls, I'd found out they'd offered on the same property. The guy that got the property offered the £1,000 less. And when he told me, I spoke to him first. When he told me, no, I spoke to him second, but initially it didn't straight away like trigger on that it was the same property. He went to me, oh, the agents told me they had higher offers, but they want to go to me. I was thinking that his agents using leverage on him to say, oh, quick, get the deal in, because they want to sell the deal quicker. Because agents do that. They will say, we've had higher offers. Oh, we've had this. I had an agent the other week go to me, oh, it's going on for this, and we're going to get this for it. We're going to get that for it. And it didn't, you know. So the agents will try and sell to you and try and get you motivated and try and use scarcity to sell to you also. So sometimes they will use that as a lie, but in this situation, they wasn't, because I knew the other guy that offered, and they did offer £1,000 more, and they did have the proof of funds, and they didn't get it. And both of them are nice, by the way. I like both of those. But it went to the guy that obviously built a better rapport with him. Different people will, this is why, when you go into, if you can go into an office physically and talk to different people, or even on the phone, keep on talking to a number of agents until you find that person you bond with, because all of us bond with different people differently. So in this scenario, it wasn't because both of them are good at rapport building, but the guy just bonded with him slightly better than him because it just probably was more relatable. We do naturally have a tendency just to bond to people on an instinct more than others. Not to say other people are better or nicer than others, we just naturally just warm towards different people. So yeah, this does happen. There is, like, when you offer as well, this is why that offer without offering, or trying to get a gauge from the agent or from the person. Because if you just go straight in an offer, it is dangerous, because you're putting the leverage straight to them. They're like, oh, well, they're keen. And sometimes they think, well, that was just too easy. I want to up the price. You know, so no, I'm going to wait to get more offers. So again, engaging people sometimes, it's hard in today's market though, by the way. Using a lot of techniques in today's market, they're getting snapped up so quick like that you don't even get a chance to. So, but usually you just want to say, like, give us an indication. Give us an indication of what would get this deal done at the moment. So and then do your offer without offering. I may be thinking this, you think that would have work? And if they say no, you say, would you think asking price will work? What I don't want to do is get in a bidding war. And I had this before. So that agent that I bought the little bag for, the little purse for, she phoned me up literally about 2 weeks later. Reciprocity working. Didn't do it on purpose. I genuinely was doing it. If it come back to me, fantastic. But she did help me out. So I genuinely was happy to give something. She phoned me up 2 weeks later and said, there's a deal. She looked at it and I was like, oh, wow, that's nice. When the offers have been 54, again, get agents on side, they will tell you the offers. And I'm like, I probably would only pay 55 for it. Like, do I offer now? Because again, I'm using this, what I've said to you in a real life scenario. I don't want to offer now and get into a bidding war. It chips up, chips up, chips up. She went, listen, offer 55. These vendors really just want to get this. They want best and finals today. She went, but they don't only want best and finals. They want the person that they think. They told me, get the person who's most likely to get this deal done quick and reliably. It's not going to fall out of bed. So she was saying to me, it's basically not about the best offer at the moment, it's about the most reliable, best offer. So they're using them. They're saying, we don't worry about the price so much, we just want the best, like the most solid one. So she went, offer 55, and I went, okay, no problem. So I asked her first, because I didn't want to get into that bidding war, exactly where you're at. So you're trying to ask them where you're at and say, I don't want to get in the bidding war, what do you think? Works with someone, don't work with all of them. What you've got to remember is, these techniques won't work, clockwork every single time on every single person. It's a numbers game, you've got to consistently do this stuff, you know? So, but anyhow, that works quite nicely in scenarios, but there's not much you can do with that apart from just keep on trying to build rapport with them to try and angle that away from you. Always appreciate the insight. Thank you, Edward. Darren. Well done, Harvey. You're coming a long way. Pat on the back, mate. Cheers, Darren. Darren is one of my ex-builders that I used to work with. He's moved at the moment, so unfortunately we don't work together, but used to work with him. So cheers, Darren. Thank you very much. Manny's jumped on. Where do you stand if you are negotiating with vendors, solicitors, as the vendor has passed away? Would the negotiation technique suggested work in this scenario? The property is on by the agent but kept referring to the solicitors who was trying to sell the property. Yeah, absolutely. This works with everybody in any situation. You just create an extreme anchor without offending. That's the idea behind it, you know. You can just go in low ball offers anyway to create them anchors, but you just run the risk of offending, you know. So yeah, it's 100% works with solicitors, anybody, you know. You just trying to open the conversation up without breaking down a relationship. Also said, cheers for the advice, no problem. So, unless there's any more questions, I'm going to get on my Sunday. My phone goes down now. I'll pick up my second phone. I will tune out. I'll try and answer any questions now. Try and give a free little giveaway every Sunday on these things. So, let's look at what resources and tools. I've not got one directly for negotiating, so I should make a little ebook or something for that. If anybody wants me to make an ebook or something around this and get this in there, just in some little bullet points, let me know and I'll put one together. If there's enough demand, I'll put one together. In the meantime, what offer would I give away today at the moment? A lot of people are asking about what can relate to this. I don't think I've got an offer that relates to this. Let's have a look. Yeah, the follow-up, the Trello follow-up offer. So, as I said, most deals get done on a follow-up. So what you want to do is put them into a system how to follow them up. So basically a week later you call them up, a week later you call them up. If you try and remember all your deals to follow up, it's going to be difficult. I've used Trello. This is a free software that you can use that to make a follow-up system so you can keep track of who you're following up with and how to follow them up with the agents, name of them agents, what to follow up, when to follow up, get alerts on that. It's a free software that you can use with this. And I've figured a way to use that to do the follow-ups. So I've put it in a little video tutorial. So if anybody who wants a little video tutorial for how to use Trello to make a follow-up system for once you've planted your seeds, put it in the comments or DM me, because for some reason Facebook's restriction is really, really low at the moment. They're really holding you back on your reach and natural organic reach. People not getting the notifications that usually would from me. I don't know what's going on with it, but something's going on. I'm not even sure if it might be linked to this iOS and this tracking stuff with Apple and the war that Facebook and Apple are in. But if you want that, if you DM me or ask me, I'll send you the outside of it, because you put outside links in it, it restricts it even more. Please tell people about this. Please share this. Do me a favour. At the moment, my reach is really, really low. So if you're getting value from this, you can't share directly out the group. I set it up wrong. I'm gutted I did, but I can't reverse that. But please tell people about it. If you like it, take a screenshot of what this is there and say, check this video out. I found it useful. Tell people what, share it with other people you think may find useful. I'm going to be asking for your help with this at the moment with Facebook, because the time and effort you put into these, sometimes you look, you've got free views. It is a little bit soul destroying, but I still want to put that out there. I know people got value from these. One of the people that follows my videos the most said to me, my notifications not coming up. Don't even realise you're doing videos still, you know. So Facebook's something's going on with their algorithm in the background. So if you can help me out with that, I'll be really, really appreciative. As I said, you can't share this directly out, but you take a screenshot. Thank you, Steve. You've done it this morning, but if you take a screenshot of it, maybe put it in your stories, maybe put it on your page, say check this out, join this group, and yeah, that will be really helpful. If anybody wants the follow-up system using Trello, how to do that when you take them into these follow-up systems, that would be great. If anybody wants an ebook around this subject, I'll create one for you as well, but I'm not going to spend an hour on it in case you don't want it. So I hope you found that useful today. Remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you're never going to live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms. Have a fantastic Sunday, everybody.